Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers and sisters. Welcome back to my channel. As I said previously in I think it was my first video, I said that I kept this a secret for so long, 3 years, precisely because of what a lot of people in the comments have said. You know, that was my natural instinct as well, you know, to keep it secret, to keep it private as much as possible. That is what I believed for a long time. You know, it's a very personal experience. I was uncomfortable sharing it, and so naturally you try to keep it as private as possible. You don't tell people. But it reached a point in time where I was getting so many of these signs, one after another, over the years. They were getting more and more frequent, more predictable, more regular, and I sort of knew how to get them. Alhamdulillah. And obviously these signs are not coming from me, you know, this goes without saying. And I need to clarify this because obviously there's a lot of people who misunderstand what I'm saying. Some people are genuinely, you know, they don't understand. But some people are quite malicious. They try to take things out of context. They try to slander me, claim that I'm claiming that these are revelation, etc., which is ridiculous. Ridiculous. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. These are basically what a lot of people get. You know, a lot of people get these signs. And the difference I would suggest is probably the frequency. You know, if Allah can give you one sign randomly now and then, okay, then He can give you 10, He can give you 50, He can give you 100. That is Allah's will and pleasure. We cannot control what Allah decides to do. Allah does what He wills. So if He wants to give you one sign in 10 years, alhamdulillah. If He wants to give you 5 signs, you know, in your life generally, in various ways. For example, you're going down the road and you run across the road and a car misses you by a millimeter. And that is Allah giving you a sign. He saved you. Remember, there are no coincidences. Everything is willed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what I'm trying to say is, this is nothing more than Allah saying, Allah basically Allah gives you signs. And it could be 1 or 2, or it could be 5 or 6, or it could be 100 even. But at the end of the day, this is Allah's will. He does what He wills. So, without further ado, as I said, I kept it secret for so long. Why did I finally decide to go public? Why I decided to go public, I'm going to keep that for another video that will be coming soon, inshallah. But the two signs, so obviously I got a sign first. When the signs were becoming so frequent, I had a dilemma. Do I keep this to myself and benefit only by myself, or do I, you know, God willing, through Allah's will and pleasure, do I try and benefit other people? And the way it has increased my yaqeen in Him, do I try to convey these signs and try to help in terms of da'wah, other people increase their yaqeen too? So that was the basic dilemma I was in. In another video I said that I got these signs during tahajjud. That was an error. I'm sorry about that, okay? I made a mistake. This was during fajr, okay? At that time, during these 2 signs, I hadn't started tahajjud, okay? So I just looked at my notes last night and I realized this was during Fajr. These 2 signs were during Fajr. I hadn't started Tahajjud at that time. I had started Tahajjud a little later after that. Anyway, so during Fajr, I asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in my salah very directly, because obviously this is a big step. Going from privacy to public is a big step, and you want to be sure, you want to make sure that this wasn't an easy thing to do. This wasn't a light thing to do. So I asked, as you do in dua, in your sujood, I made a direct dua repeatedly. Every time I went into sujood, every time I went into sajda, I asked him, Allah, what should I do? Should I go public with this? Or should I keep this a secret like I have for the last 3 years? And I want to keep it a secret. I want to, hoard it all to myself and benefit from it, because that is the easiest thing to do. It feels like I feel the most comfortable keeping it private. And instinctively, a lot of my brothers and sisters are telling me to keep it private. And I understand exactly where you're coming from, because that's how I was feeling for a long, long time. And I don't want to go public because you get backlash. Okay, you get backlash, as I've seen as well, firsthand. So the first time, I asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah, give me a sign. What should I do? Okay, so I finished my Fajr. Obviously, did the adhkar, the dua, everything. Read the Quran, etc., etc. Did the full, step by step. And then obviously, I opened the Quran. And on the first occasion, so this is now, I'm looking at my notes. You're looking at 5th of November 2024, Fajr. So I've got it written down here. So in my notes, I've written down, first time, I'm thinking about going public with my signs, but I'm not sure if it's something Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would approve of. So I opened the Quran seeking a response, seeking a sign, some inspiration, an indication of what to do next. And I get this. So what I got was chapter 40, verses 38 to 42. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So this is the verse. And the man who believed said, O my people, follow me. I will guide you to the way of right conduct. O my people, truly, this life of the world is nothing but an enjoyment, and verily the hereafter, that is the home that will remain forever. Whoever does an evil deed will not be requited except the like thereof, and whosoever does a righteous deed, whether male or female, and is a true believer, such will enter paradise, where they will be provided therein without limit. And O my people, how is it that I call you to salvation, while you call me to the fire? You invite me to disbelieve in Allah, and to join partners in worship with Him, of which I have no knowledge, and I invite you to the Almighty, the oft-forgiving. Subhanallah. Now this ayah is clearly shows a man, and I think this man was an Egyptian in the court of Pharaoh. He was a believer. He shows a man giving da'wah to people to come to Islam. The man is literally a da'i giving da'wat. In fact, the word in Arabic, dawatun, I call, is used twice in the verse. Subhanallah. Now, it doesn't require someone to be a genius or over-interpretation to realize what's going on. So let's break it down and look at the connections, the obvious connections here. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at Fajr, directly in sujood, Allah, what should I do next? Okay, what is my next step? Because I want to keep this private. Like all my brothers and sisters have told me, keep this private. That feels like the most safest, the most noble and righteous thing to do. Alhamdulillah. And that was my thinking for 3 years. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at Fajr, directly, every time I go to sajda, what should I do, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Shall I go private, or shall I give da'wah to people with these signs? Now look what Allah has responded with. The ayah He has responded with. He is showing me a believer who believed, giving dawah. O my people, follow me, I will guide you to the way of right conduct. O my people, how is it that I call you to salvation while you call me to the fire? You invite me to disbelieve in Allah and to join partners in worship with Him, of which I have no knowledge, and I invite you to the Almighty, the oft forgiving. Do you see the correlation? I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what should I do? Shall I give dawah or not? Allah shows me a verse with a man, a believer, just like me and you. Subhanallah. In perfect synchronicity, okay? Giving dawah. Calling people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the most orthodox Sunni way, okay? Belief in one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The connection is obvious. What Allah is trying to inspire in me through this ayah, through this sign, alhamdulillah, is that I should give dawah. It's simple. I asked, what should I do? Should I give dawah or not? Allah shows me, yes. Look at this example of this believer giving dawah, calling to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, calling to the Quran wa Sunnah. Am I interpreting anything into this? No. The ayah is simple, it's clear, it's obvious, okay?